another video. See you later. No, but anyways, this is something different for me. I've never done one of these videos. I've never participated in any of these contests people have. But this one intrigued me a little bit. JC from The Flip Side, whose videos I watch for a while now. I've been watching his stuff and enjoy them, and he decided to have this contest because he reached 3,000 subscribers. And I'll be quite honest, it wasn't even so much the contest aspect of it that I was interested in. I just liked the idea behind it of, you know, kind of giving a shout out to another channel that you like. And the second part was he wanted us to pick a album from 3 different decades, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it was really the shout out to the other channel that kind of interested me the most. And the reason being is, I don't know about other people, but I shoot and edit a lot of these videos like way in advance. I have like a backlog of videos right now. I only post them once a week on Mondays. And right now I'm probably done editing and shooting videos. It'll, you know, till I've got enough videos to, you know, to post until like May or something like that. And so one of the last videos that I edited a few weeks ago, I happened to do something like this in the video for the first time. I kind of gave some props to the channels that inspired me or that I really enjoyed. I've mentioned some of them here and there, but this I specifically made a point to go, hey, here's, you know, this handful of people doing this stuff, and I wanted to kind of just give them a little shout out or whatever. I kind of shout out. I think, why can't I think of a better thing to say than shout out? Anyways, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But so there was one channel that I started really kind of watching a lot after I'd made that video and edited that video. So this kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of give props to that, I didn't say shout out, to that channel, which is SHAUN SPINS. And I've just like, I feel like I've seen maybe 1 or 2 of his videos a little while ago, but just recently I've really started watching a lot of his videos, and I really like him. I mean, he's usually pretty funny, entertaining, and it seems like he puts a lot of effort and work into, you know, what he's going to do. It's not just like he's winging it, or if he is, he's very good at it. But you know, I enjoy watching his videos, and like I said, I kind of felt bad that, you know, had I not been like, you know, doing all these videos way in advance, I certainly would have mentioned him in this video that we'll post for me in like May or something. So, you know, I didn't want it to seem like he was left out of these channels that I like. So this gave me the chance to kind of give a shout out to him. So by all means, I'll put a link below to his channel and check it out and watch some of his videos. Very good. You'll like them. 70s, 1979, Van Halen 2. Follow up to, guess what? Van Halen 1. How's about that? What do you know? What a great title. I never like when bands call things like number them, like 2. I guess this was kind of, they were all Led Zeppelin fans, and I guess maybe they were kind of taking that from Led Zeppelin, but I always like, man, come on. Can't come up with a title. But anyways, great record. If you watch any of my videos, you know this was my favorite band growing up. Not when this came out. I mean, I didn't become a huge fan of this band until like later in the 80s, mid 80s. 1984, when that came out, was a huge record for me. I mean, I bought it like the week it came out, and that made me like a fanatic. You know, before that, my favorite band was The Who, and then Van Halen kind of took over. And like The Who, I kind of was introduced to this band through my older brother. Like, you know, most people are, you know, introduced to music from their older sibling, right? My brother had, I remember him playing Women and Children First. I remember him calling me into his room like, hey, you gotta hear this, you know, and he was playing me And the Cradle Will Rock, and he was like, listen to this part coming up, you know, and it was the little bit in the middle where Dave kind of, you know, improvs, like, have you seen Junior's Grades? And just, that was kind of funny. It was just kind of unique. It was, you know, you just got that sense of humor of this band, you know, which, you know, maybe was missing from a lot of hard rock bands, certainly of the time. But like I said, that, you know, didn't make me a huge fan. I didn't run out and buy every Van Halen record. It wasn't for a few years later when 1984 came out. But this is an excellent record. You know, it'd be easy to pick the debut, but that's why I decided to pick two instead. You know, you got their biggest hit, you know, up until that point was Dance the Night Away, hit the top 20. And got the inner sleeve here, pictures of the band. You also have Out of Love Again, Somebody Get Me a Doctor was a concert staple for these guys for many, many years. Bottoms Up's a fun song, Women in Love, Beautiful Girls, DOA. Great stuff. This is the 180 gram remaster they put out a handful of years ago. I have my original copy that I bought in the 80s sometime. That's stashed away. If I'm going to listen to this, I'd throw this one on instead of that. On Warner's, of course, black vinyl. The 80s is really difficult because that's when I really kind of got into music and I'm a huge fan. And even now, like the last like 10 years maybe, I've even started really getting more into new wave, which I wasn't really into that much back in the 80s. So like that decade of music I really, really love. So there's so much that I could pick from, you know, like so many different albums that I have that I could have chose, but instead I decided to choose, or not instead of, but what I decided to choose was, like Van Halen, another band that I'm a huge fan of, that meant a lot to me, still does mean a lot to me. That's Agent Orange, Southern California punk band. I chose this record specifically because this is their EP, When You Least Expect It, on Enigma Records, remember them? But I chose this record because this was sort of my introduction to the band. I used to read about them all the time in the skateboard magazines, Thrasher, Trans World Skating. Used to always mention Agent Orange or, you know, review their stuff or whatever. And I just decided one day, like, you know, I skateboarded, I was going to go out and pick up an Agent Orange record, and I picked this up. I picked the cassette up, not this. And I really dug it, and then subsequently bought more of their records. They don't have a ton. I mean, they don't really have a huge output of music. It's pretty limited, but this one I really like. You know, it's just got 4 songs on it. 2 of them are instrumentals, Out of Limits and Bite the Hand That Feeds, number 2. They do a cover of Somebody to Love, which I really like, which I remember when you picked this up on CD, there was this chanting on the cassette and on the vinyl that starts off the record. It's like, somebody to love you, know? And I remember when I bought the CD finally, and for some reason they didn't include it. I don't know why, it's such an odd thing. And then there's It's Up to Me and You, which is, I mean, I guess it's probably the closest you're gonna get to sort of like a love song by Agent Orange, or ballad sort of thing. But good record. You know, James, bass player, passed away a handful of years ago. I don't know what Scott is up to, but Mike Palm is still out there playing as Agent Orange. He's, you know, got sort of a steady group of guys who play with him. It sometimes changes out here and there, but still a good show. If you're interested, if you like Agent Orange, by all means, as I poke my eye out with the record, you should check them out if they're playing. They play pretty regularly. They're out there, you know, in the United States. And this is, like I said, on Enigma, on black vinyl. There's the Enigma logo, which I never really knew what the hell that was. We go into the 90s. We're talking about the Muffs and Happy Birthday to Me. This is 97. This is my favorite album by them, but I really love all their records. But again, similar to Agent Orange, this is like my introduction to the Muffs. I knew the tune Everywhere I Go. I'd heard that before this, but when this comes out, I hear Outer Space on the radio, and that's what made me kind of really, that's the first time I really kind of stood up and was like, you know, who's this? And literally, I remember to this day, I stood up and said, "Who is this?" No, I didn't do that. But great record. Unfortunately, we lost Kim Shattuck a few years ago to Lou Gehrig's disease, which, you know, was just so devastating. I honestly can say that, you know, that's the only time, like, you know, you get sad when celebrities died. I remember being pretty bummed when Gilda Radner passed away, and Gary Shandling and Harold Ramis. But this one, I just remember really just knocked me, you know, for a loop, because, you know, us fans, we didn't know she was sick. She kept that to herself. Friends and family were the only people who knew. And I just remember like waking up that morning and just probably going on Facebook and seeing somebody had posted that she'd passed, and it just was like, what the hell, are you kidding me? But such a bummer. So young, just super talent. I luckily got to see them live a bunch of times, and I mean, going to their shows was like going to a comedy show practically. You know, you'd get a great like kind of rock show, and then at the same time, her and Ronnie, the bass player, would be putting on this like comedy routine. It was hysterical. If you ever got to see them live, you know what I'm talking about. You know, there's plenty of videos, I'm sure, on YouTube you could go check out if you didn't get to. But this is just an awesome album. Crush Me, That Awful Man, Honeymoon, Best Time Around, I'm a Dick, Keep Holding Me is one of my favorites. But just a great band. And this they've remastered it and reissued it. Which I think on Omnivore, maybe, I'm not sure. This is on Telstar Records. When I got back into collecting records and vinyl, it was maybe 10 years ago or something. And, you know, in the 90s, a lot of stuff wasn't being pressed on vinyl. And when I got back into it, I just decided to like kind of look some of my favorite records to see if I could get them on vinyl. And when I looked this one up, I was actually surprised to see that you could get it on vinyl, because I really didn't think it was available. And so I grabbed it, and like I said, they remastered this a few years ago. And I remember when they did that, I remember like commenting on a post or something and saying I already had it and everything. And then Ronnie, the bass player, he chimed in that, like, you know, this version's not very good sounding, and the new remaster version sounds 100 times better. And, you know, I mean, you might go, oh, he's trying to sell records, but I don't think that was the case. I think he was being honest. And I placed an order for the remastered version of this, but unfortunately, I guess the pressing plants are all just backed up these days, and so I don't know, someday I'll get it. You know, it's still just kind of on back order now. You know, and so we'll see. Hopefully one of these days that shows up, because that'd be nice. But that's it. You know, again, like I mentioned, you know, check out Shaun Spins' channel, watch his videos, the link's below, and you know, support his channel, support JC's, which is really cool of him to kind of suggest to do this, to kind of, you know, help out your fellow record collectors with their videos and stuff. So, and like I said, I've never really done one of these before, and I don't know that I'll do another one again, but just kind of like the idea of this kind of, you know, sort of a pay it forward-ish kind of thing. But anyways, appreciate you watching. Check out these records, check out those channels. See you next time.